Good evening and welcome to the fabulous USA International Speedway located in beautiful downtown was it Lakeview, I think, or something like that, Florida. It's a great little racetrack. Lakeland, that's the one. Thank you very much there. That's Mitch Rollo on my left over here. He's going to be calling the shots, but he's also producing, bringing some great shots on these cameras tonight. Hello, Mitch.
How's it going tonight, John?
It's going great, man. We have a beautiful night for racing here at Sunset in Florida. Track temperature is 73 degrees. It's going to be a nice, cool track. A little partly cloudy out there, so it might even cool down a little bit more as these lights go down and the clouds go over. And we are here tonight, folks, for the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series, super late models. There's going to be 119 laps here at Lakeland, Florida's facility. Mitch, that's a long time, and if I'm not mistaken, they have a tire rule here, don't they not?
Actually, John, I'm not 100% sure. This is only my second race calling one of these things. I don't believe they're allowed to take tires, but I could be wrong, John.
Well, we're going to find out here in a few minutes when we talk to Matt Rolfe, I guess you could call him the founder, leader of this little group here. But before we get into all that, I just want to take a minute to give a shout out to our other producer, Aaron Grotzkoff. Aaron's a great guy. He's got a lot of challenges in his life already, but today he faced one that a lot of us can probably identify with. His dog passed away. It was a beautiful dog. Her name was Zuzu. And Aaron had a very close connection with his dog. She was there for him to help him rehab. And unfortunately, she passed away from cancer today. So I just want to give a heartfelt acknowledgement to Aaron and tell him, look, man, we're thinking of you. We love you. And just keep your head up, buddy. So we're going to drop that out there real quick.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. I was definitely happy to step in for Aaron tonight and have him take the night off to remember his dog, and obviously he's going through a tough time, so I was definitely happy to.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, it's something we've probably all gone through, so if anybody can take a few minutes out there and say a quick prayer for Aaron, we'd appreciate it. In the meantime, in the booth now with us is Matt Rolfe. Like I said, he's the founder, leader of this fantastic group of racers, the SARA League. Am I saying that right, Matt?
Yes, sir.
And tonight's our Dreamer Racing Super Series. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about it real quick?
Yeah, the Dreamer Racing Series is our new partner this year for our Super Series. It's actually another league, another series on their own. They do some big money events, get some entry fees, and they give a bunch of payouts at the end of it. They're just getting started. They had a 5-race mini season a couple weeks ago. They're taking a couple weeks off here, and they're going to get back going again here soon. So if anyone's interested in looking those guys up, it's Dreamer Racing Series on Facebook. Like I said, they got some payout events here coming up soon. Once they release some information, they'll probably have some entry fees, but it'll all go back into the purse and give out some money for those.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. I mean, how'd you guys work this deal out? Did you know somebody over there on that side?
They actually got in touch with our partner of ours from last season, Sim Marketing Solutions. You'll see that logo on probably half a dozen cars here tonight. They got involved with them. They were our partner last year and wanted to help out the Dreamer Racing Series, so they swapped over their partnership with them, and that's how that worked out. And I'm glad to have them on board.
Well, I look forward to seeing many more of these races presented by these folks. Now, I personally I didn't know a whole lot about SARA, the group, your group here. I've painted a couple cars for Jason Tarasenko and Deuce and a couple other guys that race for you, or with you, I should say. So how did you guys come about? How did you guys come to be?
The SARA League started back in the fall of 2012, so it's been around quite a while. I started in 2013 as a driver, and probably a year and a half later, the previous admin was kind of looking for a way out, so I offered to step up and help out a little bit more, and it turned into a full-time thing here for me. So probably around 2014, 2015, we really started getting a bunch of faster guys in the league, and from there it just kept building up higher and higher. And all the guys you see here tonight are really extremely competitive. They're really fast. It's hard for people outside the league to come into the series and run against these guys. So we added a secondary super late model series on Wednesday just for that reasons, for newer and less experienced guys to kind of work their way up. And so this Thursday night deal is our invite only series. So these are some of the best in the league. And like I said, they're extremely competitive. I think we got 29 cars here, and probably 25 of them are within 2/10 or 3/10 in qualifying. And they're going to be just as competitive here in the race coming up.
Well, I am really looking forward to this, Matt. I was here for last week's race as well, and it was a very competitive race. You guys put on one hell of a show last week, so I'm looking forward to tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and let you head out and get buckled in there, buddy, and get yourself warmed up and ready for this race. Good luck tonight.
All right, thanks.
And that was Matt Rolfe, the admin of this series, this group of drivers. And I tell you what, Mitch, he sounds like he means business, doesn't he?
He does, and definitely Matt Rolfe, a guy that's been on the sim for a long time, and is actually a font named after
I was going to
him.
say, I found that out last week, too. I thought Ben was joking, but he wasn't. That's the guy, that's the font that I use on every single one of my cars, actually.
There you go. Yeah, Matt Rolfe, big reason why the super late models are here on iRacing. So this race technically brought to you by Matt Rolfe.
Yeah, really. Well, folks, they've also got a whole bunch of sponsors that help these guys get everything to you. The pictures you're seeing now, that they help pay for this. They help pay for the setting up the servers and everything. And we're going to throw a list of that graphic up there on the screen for you real quick. If you get a chance, stop by and support these folks' sponsors. That's real important. Even in the world of sim racing, sponsorship is everything. It helps us get videos made. It helps us get cars painted. It helps us get people on track. So stop by and pay a visit to these folks and let them know how much you appreciate their support of the SARA Racing League and the Dreamer Racing Super Series. And tonight, Mitch, we've got some great guys. You heard him yourself. He's got some of the best here. And Jason Tarasenko takes our pole with a 19.573. That is hauling the mail around USA Speedway, folks. To his outside is Tim Bills in a 37 car.
Starting in the third position is going to be the number 80 of Jacob Harberts, and to his outside is going to be the number 112 of Devin Morgan.
And coming in fifth place inside row 3, Ryan Matthews in the 51. To his outside, Bill Martin in 39.
Dallas Pataska is going to be position number 7 in that number 23 car. Starting 8th is going to be the 40 of Jimmy Mullis.
And coming in inside row 5 in the 9th position, Cody Kelly in the 75. To his outside, Joe Schaefer. That's our top 10 in qualifying. The rest of the grid will scroll by there on the screen. And folks, here we go. 119 laps. And I should have asked Matt about the tire rule. I didn't. But we'll just watch and see what happens. Last week we saw a bunch of guys, Mitch, taking care of their tires, stretching it for the entire run, it looked like, on some of these tires. So we'll find out tonight if they can do the same thing here. The lights are off on the pace car. They're stacked up and ready to go, it looks like. I think we'll get one more lap around, possibly, it looks like. Yeah. I thought they were one to go, but apparently they do 2 to go here with the lights off. But that gives us a few more seconds, Mitch. What do you think we're seeing tonight, bud?
I think we're going to see a lot of patience, actually, out of these guys. I'm probably going to be proved wrong on that, because every time we say it, you know it, John, we always get proved wrong. But I think these guys are going to take care of these tires, because if I'm not mistaken, you're not allowed to take tires. So if they're going to want to be there at the end, they're going to want to save their tires.
That's what we saw last week. We saw some really good control of the vehicle, taking care of those tires. We saw some mistakes made, but again, it's short track racing. It's super late models. You've got to get in there and be aggressive, really. Track positions is what it's all about. And here we go. Pace car's off, the field's in. Green flag is out, and Tarasenko jumps out to a pretty damn good start right there, Mitch. He gets about 2-car lead going down into 1, and behind him, they're still stacked up 2 wide. The 80 car pulls ahead of the 37 a little bit, and he's going to take second place away.
First battle on track is going to be between the number 51 of Ryan Matthews and the 112 of Devin Morgan. Off at turn number 4, Devin Morgan on the outside. Going to get a little bit of a run going down the front straightaway into turn 1.
And Morgan still hanging on to that spot briefly right now. The 51 Ryan Matthews down there is going to pull ahead of him on the back stretch, and he is going to take that spot away from Devin Morgan. In the meantime, Morgan's got his hands full. Behind him now is Dallas Pataska. Pataska had a really great run last week going. Had some issues later on in the race, and they get together just a little bit right there. That's going to cause momentum to slow down. In the meantime, right back up in front of them, it looks like the 51 is making no wasted effort at all, taking the 37 to the task right there. He's going to pull down the inside and take away third spot. Tell you what, Matthews looks like he's on a mission right now.
He does, and it looks like the bottom line's where you're going to want to be here, John, early on in this race. Maybe once that the rubber starts getting worked into the track later on, as they go 3 wide with Devin Morgan in the 112, and look like the 75 of Cody Kelly and the 37 of Tim Bills. So Tim Bills going backwards here early on in this run, John, but look for him to be a factor later on in this race.
And folks, I can tell you right now, with this group of guys, that is not the first time or the last time you will see 3 wide in turns on a short track. They have no qualms at all with getting a little crazy on it. Hell, we saw 4 wide last week. It was an accident, but still, they were 4 wide.
Yeah, these guys are some of the best super late model drivers on the iRacing service. So obviously, they're going to be pushing the issue a little bit as we have a lead or a battle for the lead up front between the
caution
21.
On track.
We have a caution out here.
It looks like the 13 of Samuel Roush got turned around. I'm going to back it up and see what happened here. It looks like the 13 of Sam Roush got a little bit of help. He got a little loose in the middle of turn 3 and 4 there is what it looks like. Got down in that apron, got loose, had to check up, and the guy behind him didn't have time to check up. It was a kind of a racing deal. No harm, no foul. I don't think he got any damage at all there. He bounced off that wall just a little bit, not too bad. So we're going to stack this thing up. And like Mitchell said, I don't think these guys are allowed to change tires. We'll find out here shortly as soon as they catch the pace car and get lined up.
Yeah, I don't think you are allowed tires, John, but like I said earlier, I have been wrong in the past, a time or two, so I could be wrong again, but nonetheless, these guys enter the first caution here at USA International Speedway in the Dream Racing Super Series here at SARA.
Well, that comes out at lap 1. Well, I'm sorry, it comes out at lap 16 of 119 laps. Still a long, long way to go. But as you were saying before that caution came out, it looked to me like Jacob Harberts in that 80 had caught Tarasenko and was really giving him a hard time trying to wrestle that lead away from him there, Mitch.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't want to give it up too easy. So these guys, proving me wrong once again. They're driving pretty hard early on. We saw the 3-wide action there early going into turn number 1. So these guys, they're not really saving anything early on in this run. But you see Tim Bills sliding backwards there early in that run. Look for him to be a factor later on in this run, as he was probably saving his stuff.
I just realized I actually painted the car of the leader.
There you go. Yeah, I'm sure you got a couple others, John.
Yeah, I'm sure I do. I hadn't seen that one in such a long time. I'd completely forgotten about it. But I digress. We got a really great race going already. I mean, it's only 5-6 laps in, but these guys, like you said, they're not taking it easy. They're not being in any way, shape, or form easy on the track right now. That makes for great racing in my book, but some folks would disagree with me. Some folks would say, oh, they should just, kind of ride it out and let the first half of the race go by. Oh, hell no, man. Let's go, man. Let's see what you got.
I'm with you. It makes for some exciting action for us here up in the booth and for the fans watching on our Facebook, YouTube, and on our Twitch. So definitely some good action going on here early.
The good old triple threat.
The triple threat streaming, you betcha.
I tell you what, this Dreamer Racing Super Series is this is only my second race, this time by, for me. But I watched last week and I went back and watched some videos of prior races they've had. These guys are really, really exciting to watch. I'm really excited about doing this. Well, here we go, Mitchell. The lights are off on that pace car. They're going to stack them up 2 by 2 again and see if we can't get some more racing done here.
Yeah, we'll see if that 80 car of Jacob Harberts, can get around that 21 of Jason Tarasenko for that lead. He was trying before that caution came out, and the yellow flag kind of thwarted his attempts. So we'll see what he can do this run.
And he's got a pretty good line right out there on the outside, so we'll see what he can do with that. In the meantime, we have a viewer that just stepped in, Ty Majeski, folks. If you haven't ever heard of him, Google him real quick. Do yourself a favor on that. Here we go. Pace car is off. Green flag is out, and once again, Tarasenko jumps off to a pretty dang good start right there. And it looks to me like the 80 is going to clear the 51 down there on the inside. They'll settle back in a second, and that's going to mean that Harbert's there is going to have his hand. Matthews, Ryan Matthews in the 51 car is going to have his hands full on the outside with Dallas Pataska. Once again, Pataska had a great run last week, showed a lot of speed and strength in that car. And it looks like, wow, he gave him a little bit of a tap there, but not too much. Just let him know he's there, Mitch.
Yeah, and that back to that restart, Jacob Harberts in the 80 did a really good job of getting clear of that 51 to try and go chase down that leader in the number 21 of Jason Tarasenko.
And that's what's going to take. You've got to get clear and clear yourself from anybody fighting with you, because the more you fight with the guy behind you, the faster that leader's going to leave you behind. Meantime, the first really strong fight we've got for anything is back here, 8th, 9th, and 10th. It looks like Bill Martin in the 39 car has got that spot. It looked like Jimmy Mullis, our former winner of one of our series we've announced before, kind of wanted to take it away from him, but now it looks like they're going to just settle in there. Oh, and I tell you what, there was a little bit of a hit right there between the 15 of Zach Novak and I believe it was the 38. They got into each other coming out of 4, but they all gathered it back up and stay racing.
Yeah, it was a good job keeping those things straight by those guys to keep this thing green and see what these tires are going to do in the long run here.
Back up front, our leader's got his hands full once again with the 80 car. Tarasenko's doing his best to keep Harberts behind him, but I think Harberts is ready to take that lead away. He goes into the turns a little bit hard. Oh, he gets a little loose coming off turn. Goes in a little bit harder than Tarasenko does. Goes in a little bit deeper, it looks like. And that little wiggle lost him a lot of room to Tarasenko, but allowed Pataska to catch up to his bumper there.
Yeah, and these guys mostly single file throughout the field, but like you say, John, the number 80 right on the back deck lid of that number 21.
We got
Jason
a car
Tarasenko.
steading in too.
And looks like they all got it saved down there. Looked like to be the number, maybe the number 75 of Cody Kelly.
Yep.
And,
yeah, it looked like Kelly got a little loose there, but you're right. He saved it. That's some great driving right there. He was sideways from the field coming through out of 1 and 2 right there. It stacked them up, but everybody kept it straight. Oh, and now we do have a caution on track.
Caution on track, and now they're wrecking after the caution comes out too. That number 33 of Adam Benefiel wrecks after the caution comes out, so a tough break for him.
Wow, well, it looked like the initial caution was started by the 31 and 32 cars, got into each other coming off of 4. 32 looped it around, and like you said, the 33, I don't know what happened there. Maybe he was just caught off guard by everybody checking up all of a sudden, but found himself in the middle of I don't even know what to call that, a scrum?
Yeah, you call it a scrum. Yeah, it looks like just the racing deal. They got together, two guys going for the same space, and just didn't work out. So unfortunate, but doesn't look like a lot of damage on either of those machines, so they'll be all right.
So that's going to give Tarasenko up front a chance to just kind of catch his breath and figure out, what do I have to do to get away from that guy in that 80 car? I mean, I'm telling you, Mitch, if this thing goes green long enough, Harper's is going to give Tarasenko a fight for his money.
He is. I don't think that that 21 of Jason Tarasenko is going to get out too far from that 80, or from anyone from that matter in this field. Everyone's just so tight time-wise. As we see the 21 have a little bit of connection issues there. Hopefully that doesn't continue on for him, because that could spell disaster. But nonetheless, like I say, these guys are all so close. It's going to be tough. It's like you always say, John. It's one thing getting to a guy's back bumper. It's another thing passing. So I think that number 21 is probably pretty comfortable sitting where he's at. But you gotta be aware of that bumper and the ability to apply it. Let's say.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I don't know what happened to Tim Bills in that 37, but he's dropped from his second place starting spot all the way back to 21st. So there's something we might want to keep our eye on. Maybe next caution we'll pull him up here and see if everything's all right. Maybe we can get a chance to talk to him. In the meantime, back up front, looks like we're going to do another lap under caution. We've had some guys duck into the pits there, get some damage fixed, but I don't believe any of them took tires. At least I hope they didn't.
Yeah, like we were saying earlier, I don't believe those guys are allowed to take tires, but we'll have to confirm that with race control.
They can take fuel, though, correct?
Yeah, they can take fuel.
Well, as you know, fuel does help the balance on these cars. So if you find it not to your liking, maybe fill that tank up and see if that helps out a little bit. But we're only 20 laps into a 119-lap race. We've got 100 laps to go. That's still a long time to go. A lot of time, a lot of laps.
A lot of time, a lot of laps, and a lot of time for these guys to make their way to the front that have gone to the back, such as that number 37 of Tim Bills. Doesn't look like really any damage on that machine, John, that I can notice right now. So maybe just went back and maybe made some adjustments on that car or something.
In the meantime, race control had decided that Trevor Edwards was going to take an EOL for his part in that last little melee. I believe he was the 32 car that caused our first caution. Well, actually caused that caution. 33 wasn't really part of the caution. He was just the aftermath of it. So Mr. Edwards will be taking a trip to the rear of the field. In the meantime, our pace car, I believe, is about to stack everybody up, turn his lights off here this time by.
I would assume so, John, and we're going to be getting ready to go back green, go back racing here. See if this number 80 of Jacob Harberts can maybe make a pass for the lead on this number 21 of Jason Tarasenko.
It's going to be interesting to find out. What he's got to do is he's really got to time his starts a little bit better. That's the benefit of being a guy that starts this race. Everybody has to wait on you to go before they can go, and that always gives that person in second place kind of a disadvantage.
It does, but there's a lot of good guys, or a lot of guys that are good at restarts out there. So we'll see what this number 80 can do, and maybe stay with this number 21. But he did a good job of getting down to the bottom last time, John.
He really did. I was very surprised with that. Well, here we go. Pace car's fixing to duck off this thing and get out of these guys' way here, Mitch.
And here they come, the 80. Oh, he tries to anticipate it, and now the number 112 of Devin Morgan gets into him, and the green flag is out. But definitely some games being played there on the restart by that number 80 of Jacob Harberts. Harberts on the outside of the number 23 of Dallas Pataska, and he gets a big run down the back straight, but I don't think he's going to be able to clear him down to 3.
Not yet, he won't. I tell you what, that was Tarasenko playing some mind games. You know, Tarasenko's taken a really early run at the green flag the last 2 starts of this race. And I'm guessing that maybe Harbers thought he was going to do it again, so tried to go with him. And this time, you know, Tarasenko laid off the throttle right there, which meant that Harbers had to, you know, check up or get black flag. So that just, wow, that was slick. You got to give it to Tarasenko, though. He knows what he's doing out there.
He does, and the 80, you gotta like when he that he tries to time it like that. He knows he's got to get a restart. Yeah, he knows he knows he's got to get a restart to be able to get on the outside of him and try and take the lead on the outside. So I gotta, you know, commend him on his efforts to try and make that work, but just didn't work out that time.
I mean, you know, and I'm guessing you kind of got to give credit to Tarasenko too. You know, he knew that these guys have been watching him on his restart, so he kind of was planning for them to do that. Well, it shakes out to basically as Tarasenko keeps his lead over now second place of number 23 Dallas Pataska. That's first and second. Third is going to be Jacob Harberts in that 80 car, and right behind him is Devin Morgan in that beautiful 112. That's an interesting color green. It's really bright down there on that track. Fifth place is going to go to Ryan Matthews for down that 51 car. So it's going to be single file now all the way back to about 11th, 12th place where we got the 15 car Zach Novak trying to take away 10th from the 60 car on the outside of him. And that would be, let's see, that's Keith Medeiros. That's good old Keith Medeiros. We've seen him a few times. Keith's on that outside. And I tell you what, Mitch, it looks to me like the outside's kind of strong right now.
It is, as you see Medeiros go around the outside of Zach Novak, and Novak dives right back underneath him there. So these guys having a good fight for, looks to be the 10th position. Medeiros looks maybe going to clear him. No. Novak back underneath him into turn number 1.
And I tell you what, while you were talking about that, I went back up front to see what's going on with our leaders, and it looked to me like Pataska has caught Tarasenko. That 23 car is right on the bumper to 21 right now. And actually, to be quite honest, really the whole top 5 is right there. Throw a blanket. I'm looking at it down the inside. Pataska drives it down harder than the inside, turn 1. Let's see if he can make it stick down there, and maybe. Oh, he gets in.
He turned him.
Turns him.
As they're going to wreck on the back straightaway. There it is. And that's, and big damage. As a couple of cars piled in, and that was, wow.
Man, there's going to be some tempers about that one, I think. What do you think?
I think you're right, Sean. As we get the replay up, going down to turn number 1 here, everything looks okay, but then they just come together off of turn number 2. Not really, either guy's fault. They kind of both just ran their lines and came together. So unfortunate for those two guys and a lot of other guys involved. That number 03 of Chris Canfield took a big hit in that Sim Marketing Solutions machine. So unfortunate for the guys that got caught up in that mess.
Yeah, to his outside was it looks like the 18 of Donald Clark was just had nowhere to go. He was already up on the wall, and the car bounced back up into him. So in the meantime, we're going to stack these things back up. These guys that received damage in that are going to come in and try and get something fixed. And it looks to me like Matt Rolfe is pulled into the pits. And has he left the pits? Yeah, there he goes. He's back out now. Not real sure what that was all about. So we're going to let this sort itself out, folks, and see what we got. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and go corner to corner. You won't miss much, but we're going to take a break, catch our breath, and we'll be right back.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And welcome back to USA International Speedway, where you're watching the Sim Racing Network's coverage of the SARA Dreamer Racer Super Series. We've had some interesting developments already. Up on your screen, folks, you can see a list of the sponsors that help support these guys get their racing done, get their viewership out there. So you can see these awesome races that we're bringing to you. So make sure you stop by their websites, give them a like, follow, whatever you can do to show your support for these folks supporting your favorite super late model driver. Now, we just about to go back to green here. They're stacked up, ready to go, one to go. And Mitch, we've already seen pretty big action up front that really mixed things up and gave the lead to that number 80 of Harberts, who was fighting so hard for it earlier.
Absolutely, and Harbert's making it like gangbusters here, making it to the lead. Obviously, unfortunate for all the guys that got caught up in that caution, but nonetheless, here is Harbert's in the lead, and the green flag is out in the racing.
And he's going to jump out to a pretty good lead. Now, I'll tell you, the other person that was involved in that was Pataska, that 23 car. He didn't get hurt too bad. Not a lot of damage, and he's only in 7th spot. But Tarasenko, on the other hand, restarts this race 3 laps down, heavily damaged. He may not even come back into the race, and that is unfortunate. Meantime, back up front, Harbert's just blinked out. He's back now. He's got his hands full with Devin Morgan. Now, Morgan's got a lot of damage there, Mitch, from that last incident, but he looks pretty strong still.
That he does, as they go down to turn number 1 and 2. Morgan going to close up on the back straightaway a little bit. Maybe no. He gets a little bit loose off of turn number 2. Down into 3. Morgan closes in a lot. As you see, like a half a car length he closed in. And off of turn number 4. We'll see what the gap is at the line. It's pretty close, John.
I can't help but wonder if maybe these guys aren't trying to cycle into that tire saving mode yet. I mean, I would be thinking about that seriously. If there's no tires allowed in this race and you got a 119 lap race and you're only on lap 40 or 38, excuse me, you should really try to consider saving some of those tires. But that's not the case for our 2 leaders right now. Jacob Harberts, excuse me, that 80 car, he's still turning some pretty fast laps out there. Now, he was turning 19.5 in practice, qualified with I believe it was a 19.4, something like that, pretty fast lap. And he's out there still turning 19.7s. So that's 40 laps into this thing. Coming by now, take the flag at lap 40. So they're not taking it easy, Ben. Mitch, I'm sorry. I miss Ben.
That's okay. Yeah, we all miss Ben. Yeah, nonetheless, these guys, I don't think they're really saving anything. You look back to 3rd place, though. That's the number 39 of Bill Martin. Bill Martin just kind of lurking back there, waiting for these guys to start burning their stuff up, maybe. And he gets awful close to the wall there, so maybe he's pushing the limits, too.
Well, a lot of these guys you'll notice these folks, a lot of these cars up front are heavily damaged. That's because of the last caution that took place up front. There was a lot of cars that were up front involved in that. These guys elected to stay out. There's no aerodynamics on a short track really necessary. So as long as the car still turns like it's supposed to and still has the power it needs, they're going to stay out there as long as they can. And for those of you that are wondering why Ben's not here, well, he's out traveling with we got a caution on track.
Caution is out once again, John, as we'll try and find what happened.
Looks like Matthew Eddy in the 88 car got turned around. He's up on the outside wall there of 1 and 2. Let's see what happened here. It looks to me like, wow, he in the 18, that was some net code for sure, it looks like.
Yeah, replay's up, John, coming off of turn number 4 as they're going down the straightaway. Yeah, that was big net code. There had to have been, like a foot between those 2 cars, and unfortunately, netcode claims another victim, and we're under yet again a 1-3 Designs caution period here at the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series.
It's a mouthful, Mitch. It really is.
Especially for someone that's not an announcer. I'm used to just sitting back here pushing the buttons, and I never have to talk. But it's proven difficult for me.
Definitely a mouthful. But as I was saying before this last caution came out, Ben, I'm wanting you to know, man, we're praying for you guys out there with the USCS. They are traveling to Chatham, Louisiana for a short track race, and the weather, well, let's just say it's not cooperating. So you guys be safe out there wherever you are, and folks anywhere in this nation, if you see bad weather coming, do your best to stay off the roads. It's nothing to play around with. I live down here in South Louisiana. Let me tell you, we've dealt with some nasty weather. Katrina, Rita, Gustav. They got several names, but they all do the same thing: blow a lot of water, make a lot of damage.
Yeah, and a few days ago, John, I'm sure you were up to date on all this, but the huge tornadoes that were ripping through Alabama, and unfortunately, a lot of people lost their lives, and not only their lives, but their homes, their families, their pets, and it's just really unfortunate what happened there in Alabama with the tornadoes that went through there. So our thoughts are with all the people affected by that.
Hashtag Alabama strong. That's right, man. You know, I hope you folks don't misunderstand what I was saying. I'm not making light of bad weather. Again, I have been through some of the worst God can put on earth. Hell, I rode a Cat 4 hurricane out on the ocean when I was in the Navy. So I'm telling you, I know what bad weather's about. Be safe out there. And those folks in Alabama, we're still thinking about y'all. And, you know, it is what it is, man. Mother Nature can be quite cruel sometimes. Meanwhile, I believe Race Control is trying to calm these guys down a little bit, Mitch. I've been hearing some chitter chatter. And, you know, they're trying to explain to these guys that we're only lap 45 into a 119 lap race. There's still a long way to go. You need to calm down. Be a little smarter about these moves. You know, the thing about netcode, Mitch, and I mean, I'm not trying to say this, but if you've been doing this long enough, you know it exists, and that's why you will always see me try to give the most room I can to cars on track, whether they're passing me or I'm passing them. I just don't want to be anywhere near them because of netcode.
Yeah, iRacing has made a lot of advancements, John, over the years with the netcode.
Yes.
It used to be a lot worse. So they have made improvements, but it's still there, and that's something you got to be wary of. But at the end of the day, these guys, you know, all battling for position, and they don't want to give an inch because everyone's so close. You start getting passed by guys, and before you know it, you're back to outside the top 10, and you can't make your way up because it's just everyone's so close. So that's really showing through tonight, and the competitiveness in this league definitely showing through tonight.
Absolutely, and I mean, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, I'm sure most of you should be, but netcode is just basically our version of a racing deal that you'd see in real life. Sometimes the servers see a driver's car in a different place and everybody else sees it, and it causes chaos. But here we go, Ben. Sorry, I did it again. Here we go, Mitch.
You did.
Mitch Rollo from Canada, folks.
Yeah.
Say it with me, Mitch Rollo.
That's
we're
me.
Going back
Don't
to
wear
green,
it out.
Man. We're going back to green here shortly, buddy, and I will try to do my best to get this right from here on out. And look at that start. Once again, the leader stacks them up. Boy, that inside line got stacked up big time right there. That's going to give everybody in the top 5, maybe 6 a chance to get out in front of the people they're fighting the positions with. Now, up front, though, it looks to me like that 80 car is not handling quite as good as it was early on, which allows that damaged 112 to get right up on his bumper there, Mitch.
Yeah, it looks to be maybe burned off his tires a little bit early on in the going here at USA International Speedway here in Lakeland, Florida, which is really showing through as Devin Morgan without a lot of damage right on his back bumper looking to take over the lead.
Well, with Morgan, the benefit for him is that damage he's got on his nose, which would usually make your car tighter with that nose being up off the ground like that. As long as he's behind somebody, it's not going to bother him too much. But I'm thinking that if he does manage to take the lead away from the 80, or try to anyway, it's definitely going to affect the way his car handles.
Yeah, that nose looks like just like a big parachute, John. There's going to be a lot of air going up under there and lifting the front of that car up, so it's not going to turn nearly as good, I don't think, maybe once he gets out into clean air.
And, well, that remains to be seen because we're still green, and it looks like Harberts has still got the lead for now. So we're going to scoot on back here to, let's see what we've got going on back here in 9th and 10th. It looks to me like Adam Benefiel has 9th, the 66 car of David Krikorsky, and has got ideas about taking it away from him, but he slips up a little bit there, which gives Ty Spearman back here in the 9-2 a shot to get up on his bumper, maybe take that spot away from him.
Yeah, and Adam Benefiel, another one of those guys that has been around the sim for what seems like forever. I remember when I first jumped on the sim about 5 years ago, John. Adam Benefiel was one of the first guys that I raced with in a league setting, and one of the most respectful guys out there. I respect Adam a lot, not only with his speed, but with his demeanor and how he acts on the track. So definitely a great competitor out on that track in Adam Benefiel.
Absolutely agree with you on that 100%. And it looks to me, Mitch, like these guys have kind of calmed down a little bit. They're mostly, for the most part, single file until you get up here to about 2nd and 3rd. Yep, third and 4th. And you've got to fight for that spot between Michael Goddard on the outside in the 38 car and down low 75 car of Cody Kelly. They're both kind of, inch their way forwards into the top 5 and trying to get up there, maybe get a fight for the podium finish. That's 3rd and 4th right there. And just in front of them are the leaders, Devin Morgan in the 112 and Jacob Harberts in that 80 car. And I tell you what, Mitch, I think the 112 might have something for him. I wouldn't be surprised if, a little later on during this race, if they're still this close to each other, he gives them a shot to the bumper trying to get past him.
I wouldn't put it past them, John, but we still got a raging battle going on here for second as these guys still can't sort it out. Down on turn number 1, the 75 of Cody Kelly on the bottom side and Michael Goddard on the outside. And these guys are just going at it. Oh, and they spin behind them. There goes the 6 of Joe Schaefer. And the caution is out once again. The 1-3 Designs caution period.
That's unfortunate. I hate seeing that.
And we'll get a replay up here for the fans in just a moment. See what actually happened here. Going down to turn number 1, looking at the replay here, John. Looks like, yeah, they just got all stacked up, and then afterwards the 15 of Zach Novak just gets into the back bumper of the 6 there. So just maybe a little impatience there on the 15 of Zach Novak's part, but unfortunately under yet again another yellow flag period here.
I'll tell you what, the 6 better count his lucky stars because he got missed by everyone. So basically it was just a spin for him, no damage at all. He didn't hit anything. Could have been a lot worse though, Mitch. I mean, he did that in front of a good 10, 12 cars right there.
He did. He got extremely lucky, but as you see now, John, back in the 16th position, so he lost quite a few positions over that ordeal, so he's not going to obviously be happy with that, and we'll see if he can make his way back up through the field here.
Now, you know who loves this, though? That's that guy up front, Jacob Harbert's in that 80. All the cautions he can get will help him take care of these tires, and actually, we're going to be coming up on halfway here shortly. We're already on lap 58. Halfway point will be lap 60-ish, 59.5, whatever you want to call it. So halfway home, and we've already had, I think this is our 6th caution, 7th caution.
Yeah, I believe that's our 6th. Not 100% sure. I don't have that number next to me here.
Yeah. That's, I mean, that's, you know, I was a guesstimate, and my point being, this is typical short track super late model racing, folks. I don't know if you've ever been to an actual super late model race. I have. Southside Speedway, Virginia, during the 90s. This was not uncommon to see a lot of beating and banging at the first part, and basically what it got down to, Mitch, was the survival of the fittest, the survival of the luckiest, if you will, towards the end of that race. Usually the longer races wound up being caution-free from the halfway point on, so we'll see what happens here. You know, you're just kind of whittling down the field right now. Let's see how many cars we have left in the field. We started this race off with 30 cars, and right now it looks to me like we still have 25 of them on track and on the lead lap.
Yeah, so still quite a few on the lead lap and on track for that matter, John. But looked like that last run, everyone was calming down just a little bit more, except for that one incident where they all got stacked up through 1 and 2 there. But we'll see. Hopefully this continues, this trend continues where they start to calm down a little bit.
It looks like the Pataska car is retired from the race, but Tarasenko's retired and Mullis is out. However, Russell Brown and Canfield are still in the race. They're just 12 and 15 laps down, respectively. So we have 27 cars still on track for our 30 that originally started. And as far as lead lap cars, there's still 25. So plenty of chances here for pretty much anybody to improve their running right now. Mitch, I tell you what, I really do hope this thing goes green the rest of the way, because these cars are so much fun to watch when they've been on track for a long time.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, John, also the difference in tires too. If we can get a green flag run, you know there's going to be some differences in tire wear, and we're going to see guys go backwards, and we're going to see guys come forward. So it'll be interesting to see if this thing goes green, what happens in that respect.
And here's an interesting little stat fact for you. I got these from Ben. He does this to me all the time. But in our top 10, only 4 cars started in the top 10. That's the leader, Jacob Harberts, Devin Morgan in 2nd, Cody Kelly in 3rd, and Bill Martin in 5th. They started 3rd, 4th, 9th, and 6th, respectively. Everybody else in our top 10 started outside of it. So here we go, Mitch. The pace car is off. The cars are roaring, and off we go. The 80 car of Harberts gets out to a pretty decent lead. Nobody gets stacked up that time. We stay green for now, and we got a pretty good fight right there in 2nd place. It looks like Kelly down on the inside of the 75 car wants to take that away from the 112, but the 112 makes a power move on the outside, taking that 2nd spot away. Cody relegates himself back to 3rd spot. In the meantime, back behind them, 38 and the 39 are back there. 39's got his hands full on the outside with it. Looks like Keith Medeiros in that 60 car keeps poking his nose up there, trying to take that spot away from him. He had it that time by the flag, but doesn't look like he's going to keep it unless he clears him going down into 3 right here.
And into 3, doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it there. We'll see if he can use that 38 as a pick. As the 38 is going to come up, they're even, pretty much even at the line there, John. Going down turn number 1, looks like the 39 has the edge, but here comes the 60, yet again, of Keith Medeiros on the outside, trying to make that high side work, John. Looks like both lines are pretty even right now.
Well, the problem with being on that outside, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not an experienced super late model driver, but I don't know, logic dictates he is wearing his tires out much more running so hard up there on that outside line like that than the guy on the inside is. I mean, am I wrong about that?
I'm also not an expert at the super layout model, but I would think so.
The blind leading the blind, folks.
Absolutely. Yeah, I haven't had a lot of time in the super layout model. Oh, as the 33 of Adam Benefield gives a little tap to Keith Medeiros in that 60. That's
just hey, man, do something with this. I got to go.
Absolutely. As Benefield trying to make his way to the front. He's up to the 7th position. Medeiros 6th. So those guys battling for the 6th spot as we go back up front. A lot of the same, but we have 3 cars under a blanket here, John, going for the lead.
Yeah, it looks to me like Cody Kelly in that 75 has really picked up his game here, Mitch. Going down to 1. He's right there on the bumper, the 112 of Morgan. And, of course, in front of them is the 80 of Harberts. And, like you said, throw a blanket over our top 3. And my question is, how aggressive do you think Kelly in that 75 is going to get? I mean, we've still got a long way to go here. We're only on lap 67 of 119 coming across the line now for 68, Mitch. How aggressive do you get right now?
Well, looking at that 75 car, John, I don't see a mark on that car. So that's one thing I've noticed with that 75 of Cody Kelly. Doesn't look like a lick of damage on that thing. So maybe has an advantage there, but it's just so hard to pass here. There's only really one good lane, and that's the bottom lane. And to be able to make it work, you're going to have to get a really good run off the top side and clear them before the next corner.
You're absolutely right about that, Mitch. And I'll tell you what, though, look at how tight these guys are running right now. I predict that we're going to have a pretty strong fight for the lead here shortly. In the meantime, back behind these 3 guys, another pack of 3 cars that are all equally strong as well. You've got that 38 right there, the 39, and the 60 of Medeiros. So these guys have all been fighting with each other for those 3 spots as well for the last several laps. Pretty tight racing right now, pretty clean racing, but pretty tight, when you say, Mitch.
I would say it looks pretty good out there, John. These guys aren't really going too crazy. Oh, as there's a big bump for the 39. The 39 that gets bumped. As just as I say they're calming down, they get a little bit rowdy on us again. So it happens every time, John. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Every single time we say that, you get this happening. But I think the thing was there, the 39 of Martin didn't expect for him to come down like that. That 38 car came down just a little bit sharper, I think, than he expected. And so he checked up and let him catch it. And unfortunately, Medeiros didn't see that checkup, and that's what led to all that. And these cars look like they've been through hell, man.
A lot of these cars look like they've been through hell. As I'm looking at the battle here for 6th spot between Benefield and Bill Martin. Those guys still side by side trying to sort that position out as Bill Martin comes up the track. He hits Benefield. Benefield in the wall. Those guys trading paint down on turn number 1.
I'll tell you what, there's so much going on this track right now. It's insane. Oh, look how loose the 39 gets coming off of 2 right there.
Wow.
Manages to pull it back in. Doesn't even get out of throttle, I don't think. Dives it hard into 3 and 4, trying to gain that spot back. I don't even know if I want to go up front and see what's going on up there right now.
And as you look at the brake rotors on these cars, John, they are just glowing red as they go into the corner. So these guys hard on the brakes, not giving an inch to anyone. So no brakes being given here, even though it's all, well, I guess we're getting down to the end of it now. Lap 74,
no
119.
brakes given. That's cute, Mitch. That's
Wait,
my job.
Did I just make a pun and not even know it?
You did.
Wow.
Did.
Okay, well, that's impressive. I'm impressed with myself right now. But
I am too. I tell you, it's just a matter of time before iRacing jumps on this realism kick of theirs again. They've done really great with the dynamic weather, dynamic lighting. We started this thing off in sunset. Here it is, night, lights are on. Now, you were talking about glowing rotors. I hope to God we see soon tire failures because you're overdriving your car. You're getting those beads on those rims heated up way too much, blowing out tires. People call me crazy when I say that, but you know what? It'll teach you how to drive a car pretty quick.
It will. I think they should bring that out, John, as I think, I'm not sure. There's a new tire model coming out pretty soon. It came out in a couple cars this build, but it'll be coming out on the oval cars sooner rather than later. I'm interested to see if you're going to be able to blow tires with the new tire model.
Well, you know, the people that brought us iRacing brought us NASCAR Racing Series also for Papyrus, and you could lose tires in that from, I believe, the very beginning all the way to the end. I remember blowing several tires because I tried to run too long, too hard at Dover and blew a right front and cost myself the race. Oh, wow.
Big trouble down the front straightaway into 1 there. There's 3 wide between the 39 to 6, and looks like the Ryan Matthews' machine there, the 51, those guys, they got all bunched up. Not sure what happened back there, but they get it all sorted out. As the first side-by-side battle now we have is going to be between the number 31 and 92. That is, sorry, that's the 31 and 92.
Well, what happened there, it looks like the 39 came up in front of the 13. 13 did not have time to check up and got to the back of that car a little bit and got him sideways, which caused everybody else to jumble up. And that's where you saw your three-wide racing. But look at this fight up front. It is starting to heat up now. The 112 out there on the outside Morgan was trying to get himself a good run coming off the turn by arcing it down so hard there, but he didn't get quite up there. But he was on the outside of the 80 for a little while, and I'm telling you, this is starting to heat up hard up front. Look at that. See how he arcs it way up high like that and then cuts it back down low? Now watch this run down the back stretch.
Here he comes down the back straightaway, John, and he gets to the bumper but doesn't have enough to get underneath of him before the corner gets there. So good, respectful racing there by Devin Morgan, making sure he can get underneath him clean before he tries to make that pass.
And here we are, about 30 laps to go, 35, 36 laps to go. My math sucks, but we're somewhere in that range. This is the time to get it done, Mitch. This is the time to get your car forward if you can. And I'm telling you right now, that 112 wants that lead. He's just trying to figure out how to get by the 80 of Harbert's without causing any kind of an incident.
I think Devin Morgan's got a lot better car here, John. It's just going to be a matter of if he can get by him. Like we said earlier, it's another thing passing him. You can get to him, but it's another thing to pass him.
And if you look right there, Harberts has changed his line to match that of Morgan, so he takes his racing line away from him. In the meantime, behind him, the 75 of Cody Kelly got a little loose coming off of 2, got a little back quarter damage going into the wall there, but I don't think he's going to slow him down at all. He's just waiting for these two to take each other out so he can sneak in there and take that lead.
And down through 1 and 2, we're on board with Devin Morgan on the dash cam here as they go down the back straightaway. Not as good of a run for Devin Morgan that time. Down turn number 3, you see him arc it in. Look at that line, John. Look at the difference in lines. Is off turn number 4. Just can't get enough of a run to get underneath that 80 of Jacob Harberts.
I'm sure that's about to change, though. I'm fairly certain he's got a little more tires saved up than the 80 does, and if he can figure out how to get up underneath him and stay there without wrecking him, he's going to do it. And here we go. Look at this. I love that line he's running, man.
It is heating up here, John, as a lot of different lines coming into play now with this track getting rubbered up down low. You see Harbert's kind of trying now to adapt to that line that Morgan is running behind him. He saw that he was faster on the exit of the corner with that line that he was running. They're kind of evened out there on the exit of the corner now. Harbert's kind of figuring out what Devin was doing.
Well, I think the 80 is also running a little bit of middle to high line, which really kind of makes it difficult for the 112 to turn down under him and get that run like he was looking at. So you watch this right here. See how he kind of runs that middle line coming off? And it's not, I wouldn't call it blocking, but he's just taking the guy's racing line away from him. Yeah, boy, those rotors are getting hot. Look at that.
Yeah, they are. And you see now the 75 of Cody Kelly. Not that time he didn't, but he was adapting to the top two's line as well as running that middle end. Yeah, he runs the bottom. Oh, he gets underneath the Devin Morgan, but Devin Morgan, I think, going to get the run off the corner here as he does. He gets really loose. So maybe Devin trying to, or starting to burn off those tires as well on that number 112.
Absolutely. And look at how hard Kelly sends it into 3 right there, man. I think he's decided it's time for him to go. As we cross the line, lap of 89 right there, 31 laps to go. It's time to go, folks. Time to go or blow. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely time to go here as Devin Morgan trying his best to try and get underneath that 80 car of Jacob Harberts. Now he's going to go to the outside and try and get to the outside, but he's not going to do it there. It's going to be extremely difficult. I think that the 80 of Jacob Harberts is going to have to make a mistake here.
I don't know. Look at this run he gets coming off of 2. If he can just stop getting so loose coming off of 2 and can maintain his momentum, I'm trying to say, he'd be able to make that pass. But his problem is he's just getting loose off these turns.
That he is, as Harberts, ever since he adapted that line that Devin Morgan was running, they've kind of been a little bit more even off the corner. I think that's kind of hurting Devin just a little bit. But you see, just behind them, Cody Kelly starting to fall back just a little bit from these two guys. Oh, there it is, Devin Morgan underneath the 80 of Jacob Harberts. There's a battle for the lead down the front straightaway.
He couldn't pull it off. He's not a bottom feeder. He just can't make his car run as fast down there in that bottom line. Lost a lot of momentum. But look at that. He draws right back up on the back bumper there. And he's not giving up. That's for sure, Mitt.
As Devin Morgan now the last couple laps is kind of around the bottom line a little bit. There he goes back to the middle again. And he is there there he goes underneath the 80 of Jacob Harberts. There's a battle for the lead on track through 1 and 2. These guys are dead even going through the corner. But now Devin Morgan gets a little bit loose, and the 75 now gonna. Oh, he cuts him a break.
Check up and let him. Yeah, he's gonna check up and let him catch his car right there. That was sportsmanship right there. The 75 could have pushed the issue, knowing he had a better run, but he let up and let the 112 get gathered back up there, and they're gonna try and finish this on track under green. Mitch, what do you think? We're gonna see a finish under green?
I certainly hope so, John. If this thing goes green, it's gonna be interesting to see. Because back in the 4th position, as we have another instance of Devin Morgan.
Wow, he swung him way up high that time.
Yeah, he did, and he sticks it, kinda.
No,
he's still there. He's still there, down through 1 and 2. He is trying his best on the bottom, but that top just gets such a good run. You see off the top there, as the 80. It's going to be extremely difficult to get by him here, John.
You know who Harberts reminds me of? Dale Earnhardt Sr. He makes that damn car so wide when you're trying to get by him and you're faster, you know, and you're trying to be respectful and clean, and the car seems like it grows 30% on each side.
I just want to step away from this battle for the lead for just a few seconds and go back and look at this battle that these guys are having back here for 5th on back. They're doing a heck of a job back here. I don't want to overshadow how good of a job these guys are doing back here. We got a great battle for the lead, but I also want to say what a good job these guys are doing, and racing good and clean back here too.
So far, I mean, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of it right here. We're under 20 laps to go, or come to 20 laps to go, I should say, and it's getting fierce back here. It's getting time to go and move and get what you can, and hopefully do it cleanly. You're right. There's a whole gaggle of cars back there just swapping positions back and forth. I tell you what, one guy who's cleared all that smut? No, the group. I don't know where that came from. Was Sam Roush. He's got that car hooked up, and he's definitely leaving this little pack behind in 5th right now. Sets his sights on 4th, but back up front, Morgan is still trying to figure out a way to get around Jacob Harberts in that 80 car. Now here we go, Mitch. We got lap cars starting to make their presence known to these guys up front, and they will play a part in this, I think. What do you think?
I think so. We're going to have to see if Devin Morgan can try and make use one of these lap cars as a pick, maybe, John. It's just going to be so difficult to pass. As you see, the leader's line is affected there of Jacob Harberts, so you see it already coming into play right here as Morgan right at the back bumper of that 80 of Harberts, going down the back straightaway. He just can't get the run that he needs off the corner anymore.
That was the 36 car running back there. Let's see who that is. That is Mark Royer in that 36 car. Getting out of the way, trying to let these leaders decide amongst themselves who's going to win this race, not wanting to be a part of that. Next car in front of our leader, though, is going to be that 70 car. That's Russell Brown Jr. in the 70 car. We'll see how this plays out. And they got another one right in front of him. And look at this. Here it goes. The 112 down on the inside. Morgan going to stick it down the inside, and he's going to get a good run this time. Come up off of 4. So main thing is use that lap car. Oh, a caution's out.
Oh, the caution's out. No. That was about to get good, John.
It really was. That's unfortunate. Let's see what this caution is for. Let's see if we can find it real quick, folks. Give us a second. Oh, we got a big pile up coming out of 4 right here. Looks like the 32 car's down there in the grass. The 38 car next to him. Let's see what we had going on here.
I'm going to bring up the replay here, John. Focusing on the 38 car right here. The 38, oh yeah, 32 just got into the 32 there, and unfortunately, those guys just sitting down in the grass there. Looks to be a 2-car incident, as he almost backed up into traffic, but nonetheless.
Oh, goodness.
Wow. A caution that really didn't need to happen, and I wish that didn't happen, John, as these guys, it was about to get really, really good for the lead here.
I would hate to be on the radio with Devin Morgan right now, because you know he's not happy. I think he knew he was taking that lead away that time. He had a lap car as a pick. He had a really good line, a really good run going through 1 and 2 right there. And unfortunately, the yellow came out, which scored Harberts on the scoring loop ahead of Devin Morgan. So at the moment, with 104 laps down and about 15 to go, we'll see what happens on this next restart, Mitch. It's going to be interesting.
A guy that did not want to see that 1-3 Designs caution come out is that 112 of Devin Morgan. A guy that did want to see it coming out is that 80 of Jacob Harberts, as Devin Morgan was looking like he was going to start making his way around that 80. They were about to go 3 wide for the lead with 1 lap car up top there, so it was about to get really interesting.
Well, what this means basically now is that the 80 car does not have to worry about getting slowed up by a lap car. He can let his tires cool off, and he's just going to have to make Devin Morgan work for it now. So we're going to take a quick break, folks. We got about 1 lap, maybe 2 more laps to go. Catch our breaths. You'll see it all on corner to corner until we come back. And when we do, we will see if this SARA League Dreamer Racing Super Series can finish under green with, it looks like it's going to be about 15 laps to go. We'll be back.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And welcome back to USA International Speedway for the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series. The I13, thank you. That's what I was trying. 1-3 Designs caution is about to wrap up. The pace cars lights are off. They're stacked up 2 by 2. Jacob Harberts, Devin Morgan, Cody Kelly, Adam Benefield, and Sam Roush are about to bring this thing down to the line. That's your top 5. Pace car is off. We're back to green. And I tell you what, Harberts needs to get a start of a lifetime right here, but he doesn't really get that great of a start, Mitch. As going down to 1 and 2, he's got the 112 of Devin Morgan right on his tail. Looks like Benefield's really got his eyes trying to, get out there to the outside and get that spot away from the 13 of Sam Roush, or vice versa, I should say. Roush was in 5th, trying to get away 4th. Meantime, up front, it's back to what we were talking about before the caution came out. Devin Morgan trying to figure out how he's going to get around that 80 of Harberts, and behind them, Cody Kelly waiting for those two to make mistakes so he can sneak in there and grab the win. And behind them, though, it is just 2 by 2 by 2 like it was a restart or something. Now, you see the 112 backing up a little bit there. Somebody got in the wall. It looked like the 80 car got in the wall just now. Let some sparks fly, but I'm wondering if Morgan's...
There it is!
Not. Oh, here
31.
we go. We got another spin, and 33 is going around in front of the entire field, it looked like.
And the 31 just went in there and unfortunately tapped the left rear of Adam Benefield in that 33. So Adam Benefield, after going through basically the whole field, John, unfortunately a victim of another 1-3 Designs caution.
And you said it, though, another break there, Mitch. Cautions breed cautions. We were hoping that wasn't going to be the case. It turns out it is, and like you said, it looked to me like the 31 just ran out of room down low, got into the curb, and which caused his car to push up, and he got into the rear corner there of the 33, which brought out our latest 1-3 Designs caution. Oh, what are we going to do here, Mitch? I'm really disappointed, to be honest with you.
It was going to be a great battle to the end there if that last caution didn't come out, but unfortunately it did. And John, would you like to speak with the driver out there? He's in the 4th position. He's had a heck of a comeback in this race. Let's see if we can get a word with Samuel Roush.
Sam Roush, this is John and Mitch up in the booth, bud. You there?
Yes, sir.
Well, here we are on another 1-3 Designs caution. You find yourself all the way up to 4th from 13th, but you were further back in the field than that early in the race. How's it going for you, bud?
Well, it's going good right now. Hope it stays being good there at the end of this race. I know it gets kind of wild, but it was Car's digging. It's really, really good. We had that incident beginning with Spearman when I think I was trying to let Keith in. He kind of got in me, and we had to come from the back. The car's really good. Been a lot of good racing up here. I think we can at least sneak up in here to top 3. I don't know about anything further. Jacob and Devin are pretty darn fast.
So you're going to try and make that pass on the outside? You think you can make it work?
It all depends on this restart. If I can get a good timed restart, I think I could probably get Cody up here off of 2.
All right, buddy. Well, we're gonna get you out of here real quick. Mitch, you got any questions for him before we let him go?
I think I'm good, John. I just want to wish you luck in the rest of these laps here, Sam, and hopefully your good run to the front doesn't get thwarted by a wreck or something like that.
Yeah, I hope the same here. Thanks for the good luck, and thanks for broadcasting with this season for us guys.
All right, Samuel. Thank you for your time, bud. Good luck. And that was Sam Roush, the driver of the number 13 car. And I'll tell you what, Mitch, he's going to have his hands full trying to get that pass made on the outside there.
He is, and up front, well, he's up front too, but for first and second here, Harberts, oh my goodness, Harberts and Devin Morgan, these guys have been going at it for, well, quite a few laps now, John. They've been nose to tail for quite some time, and we'll see if Devin Morgan can finally make that pass work. I just don't know if he can. And the next caution flag, or the next 1-3 Designs caution flag is going to end it. So if Devin's going to want to make this work, he's going to have to do it almost immediately after the green comes out, and he's going to need a good restart.
Absolutely correct. And I'll tell you what, folks, we were just talking to Sam Roush. He's made a dramatic move from where, like you said, he went all the way to the back there. That Midwest Power Source Dodge Charger is looking really strong. If you look at that car, it's scratch-free. So here we go, Mitch. The lights are off. They're stacked up 2 by 2. We're going to see who's going to do what here. Now, my guess is the gloves are coming off for this last restart. Like you said, the next flag ends it. We're going to go back to green with 5 laps to go. So I'm guessing the kitty gloves are coming off, and it's pretty much going to, uh-oh. I see a lot of blinking cars here, Mitch. Do you?
And this is going to be an issue with the iRacing servers, unfortunately, John.
Oh, the entire field is dropping quality and being bad.
And they're all back now. And green flag is out, and the
caution's back out.
Caution's back out. They're gonna wave the caution yet again. They're gonna delay the green, so it should only be delayed by 1 lap. So it should be okay here. Should get.
Yeah, only 1 lap. They're gonna wave the caution. That didn't count as a restart, so they're gonna try and let the server fix itself. But man, I'm telling you, there's a lot of yellow on this entry list as far as pings and quality go. Coming back to green now, it looks like. Let's just get this over with, please, iRacing. We got a great race going here. But, man, these cars are winking and blinking all over the place, Mitch. I don't know about this, man.
It's not looking good right now, John, as, yeah, Sam Roush, everyone's blinking around up here. It's really unfortunate this is happening. Hopefully it'll clear up. We'll see if they're going to delay the screen 1 more time.
They shouldn't. They're all back in the green now.
Yeah, there we go. We're good to go. We're back racing here at USA International.
Green flag is out. Oh, my goodness. Look at this start. I tell you what, Cody Kelly got a great reaction time down there on the inside. So what that's going to do, that's going to tie up the 112 of Devin Morgan. He is not going to be able to get up there and fight that 80 for the lead like he wanted to. And as I say that, look at that powerhouse move on the outside, man. They both get a lot of ground on that 80 of Jacob Harberts. But is it going to be enough? That's lap 118 right there. 2 laps to go. In the meantime, looks like Cody Kelly drops back to 3rd, drops back in line there with the 112. 112 gets a little wiggle off of 2 right there. This is going to be the 80 cars race to lose. He's got so much of an advantage right now. I just don't think they can catch him back there. As we cross the line right there, that's the white flag, Mitch. 1 lap to go.
1 to go here in the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series here at USA International down the back straightaway. Looks good for Jacob Harberts, as Devin Morgan going side by side for 2nd with Cody Kelly. Jacob Harbert's going to win this race. The battle for 2nd is going to go to Cody Kelly.
Wow. That was one hell of a move Cody Kelly put on down there in turn 3 and 4 on that 112 of Devin Morgan to take that 2nd spot away. What a fantastic finish. It would have been nice for the whole thing to go green, but we know how short track racing can be here. At the SARA Series, man, it's brutally realistic is what I'm trying to say there.
There you go.
So what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to let Jacob start his burnouts down here. You're going to see that on corner to corner, and when we come back, we're going to have interviews with the top 3.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
You do the And welcome back to USA. We've wrapped up tonight's race, the SARA League Dreamer Racing Super Series. 119 laps here at USA. It was an exciting run. And I tell you what, Mitch, I'm out of breath still, so I'm going to let you catch up with our third place runner, Devin Morgan. I believe you've got him cornered down there, don't you?
That I do, John. Devin Morgan, I'm down here on pit road with Devin Morgan. A solid third place run here tonight. We thought you had something for that number 80 of Jacob Harberts before that caution came out. Talk to me about your race.
Yeah, we were pretty good there. Just bit our time and got to the front there and got to second. We were working on them pretty good. Just that late race caution really messed us up. Once the tires cooled off, it just never fired back off like we wanted it to.
Yeah, we definitely noticed that. And at what point of the race did you really notice that top line starting to come in? Because we saw you were making really good time on the outside, getting huge runs on Jacob down the straightaways.
Not really long green flag run. I noticed about lap 5. I'm usually one of the first people to migrate up there, so I give it a shot and it really worked out. So we just started running and everyone migrated up there, and it made it really hard to pass as the bottom was too tight and too free off.
Definitely a very good run here for you tonight, Devin. Who do you want to thank for your run here?
I gotta thank my mom, my dad, Ryan Matthews for a really great setup, LeDuc Matthews Racing for taking me on. So I'm just excited for the rest of the season.
John, that was our third place finisher, Devin Morgan, and I'm going to go try and find our second place finisher.
Sounds good, Mitch. While you do that, I want to recap, folks. We had a great race tonight. It was to be expected. This is what you get when you run a short track, especially in iRacing. I mean, it's going to be some bumping and banging, and I don't know if many of you folks out there have gone to real short track racing, but that's what it's all about, folks. You know, beating and banging and digging in the corners and everything. So let's recap real quick. 119 laps, 7 cautions for 35 laps, and only 1 lead change for the entire race. Jacob Harberts just pretty much dominated this race. Now, I think Mitch, if I'm not mistaken, has caught up with our second place driver, Cody Kelly.
That I have, and Cody, a really good run here for you tonight. We saw you, Devin, and Jacob under a blanket for a lot of the last half of this race. Talk to me a little bit about your race here.
Yeah, I started. I think I started 9th or 10th today, and got up to about 6th or 7th. I was pretty good, and me and Joe got together a little bit and fell back to barely saved it. I almost spun out and went all the way to the back, but I saved it and stayed in about 12th, I think, and a caution came out. And from there, I just kept making my way up to the field and got to 3rd. And whenever I got to 3rd, I just got behind Devin and Jacob, and they were fast. And I was really just riding there behind them, trying to see if they were going to get into each other or what, because it was so hard to pass. And I just saved my tires, and that last restart, I got under Devin, and I was able to get around him. I guess he got a little bit tight, but it was a good race. Everybody raced clean up front, and it was a lot of green flag laps, and it was a good race, though.
Definitely a lot of fun from our perspective up here in the booth. Is there anyone you want to thank for your second place run here tonight, Cody?
Oh yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Alan tonight. He threw me a number on the car like 10 minutes before the race, because I didn't even know I was gonna race. And I want to thank DK, Tim Bills, everybody at Wheeling and Dealing. They help a tremendous bit. And I want to thank Davey for spotting. And I want to give a shout out to TP3 Designs for sponsoring me tonight. He makes a lot of cool RC parts. Everybody needs to check him out. And I want to thank y'all guys for the broadcast and Matt Rowe for a great league.
Well, we appreciate that, Cody, and impressive second place finish. And John, I believe you have caught up with our first place finisher tonight, the number 80 of Jacob Harberts.
I have indeed, down here in Victory Lane. Great talking to Cody Kelly there, Mitch. Thank you for that. Jacob, my friend, it looks like on paper you dominated this race. Talk to me about your run, man. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. It was mainly just track position. The car was really good first half of the race for me. My teammate Devin was hanging out behind me for most of the race and just kind of gave me a little cushion from 3rd. I started getting tight center towards the end, and luckily, he was racing me hard, but he was racing me clean. So I was able to hang on for the win, and we were working together on restarts so we could just keep ourselves up front as much as we could.
Well, it looked to us like towards the end of that, before that last really crazy caution came out, that maybe Devin had figured out a way to get around you on the top side. But just as soon as we said that, it looked to me like you changed your lineup a little bit to try and prevent that from happening. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, with the dynamic tracks, it's hard, because you got to figure out what's best for your car. And I was noticing that Devin was getting some runs on the high side, and just it seemed like whenever I tried to go up there, it was not working. I couldn't get through center like he could. So I just, eventually realized, okay, I just need to stick to the bottom and run my line. And so that's what I ended up doing for the rest of the race, and it seemed to work out pretty good for me.
Why don't you give us a quick rundown of what you saw of that incident between Tarasenko when he was up there in the lead and the car he got into? Did you see any of that, and you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, I got a good view of that. It was just close racing, really. Tarasenko, he's just, when I was riding behind him, he's hard to pass. He's really good holding position, and Dallas just seemed to get a little anxious trying to get up into the lead, and they were just running hard. He was kind of pinching off the corner, and they got together. But it worked out for me, though. They kind of drifted on track a little bit, and I was able to just stay high, and Devin as well was able to just follow me through that, and we got up to the front.
Well, regardless of how you got into the lead, and you were giving Tarasenko a pretty good run for his money as well. You led 90 laps. Now, you were basically the only lead change tonight. You dominated this race from that point on. You did have your hands full with some guys, but you brought it home in first place, got you the win. Is there anybody you want to thank for that win tonight?
Of course, the guys at Leduc Matthews, they've been up on it on the cars lately, just every week showing up with some good pieces, and just, luckily tonight we had the track position. I think I had a pretty good car last week, but I got turned early on and didn't have the track position. But just everyone's so close, and the SARA League, you got to be up there, and it's hard to pass,
Well, congratulations again on your win there, Jacob. Thank you for your time visiting us with us down here in Victory Lane. That was our winner, Jacob Harberts. And I'm going to talk to Matt Rolfe real quick. Matt, how you doing, bud?
Not too bad.
Well, it's over. Are you still breathing?
Yeah, I am. I had a My race was a struggle, but it sounded like there was some better racing going on towards the front of the field. That's for sure.
I tell you what, myself and Mitch found ourselves out of breath so much we had to take a commercial break just to gather it back up. I tell you what, man, this is my second race with you guys here at SARA in this Dreamer Racing Super Series, and I'm telling you what, man, I'm having a blast. It's been real fun to call these races.
Yeah, like we talked about before the race, these guys are extremely competitive. Some of the best that you'll find on here. So the racing's usually pretty good, but I mean, personally, I like to have a few less cautions, but I think that's kind of what you get when you have 20 plus guys that are all really close in lap times, really close in speed, and they're out here just fighting for position lap after lap. You're going to have cautions here and there, so it is what it is. But yeah, these guys, they know what they're doing. They know how to race. They put a lot of time into it to get to where they're at, so it definitely shows.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the cautions. I mean, I was talking about that with Mitch on the air as a guy that used to do super late model racing and has been to quite a bit of real life super late model racing at Southside Speedway up in Virginia. That is exactly what you're going to see. You're going to see some competitive guys who somewhere in the race, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but they're going to put a bumper to somebody, or they're going to make a move that they probably shouldn't have. It's going to result in a caution and some torn up sheet metal. The good news about this is this doesn't cost everybody 25, 30 grand a weekend, and nobody gets hurt. But it was definitely a very entertaining race. And Matt, I just want to thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to broadcast this, and I'm looking forward to doing some more for you, bud.
Yeah, thanks. Before I get out of here, I just want to obviously thank the sponsors, Dreamer Racing Series for being the title sponsor, and then tonight's race sponsor, Midwest Power Source. They've been helping us for a few seasons now, so big thanks to them.
Sounds great. Thank you very much for your time, Matt, and we'll see you next week, bud.
All right, see you.
And that was Matt Rolfe. And I'll tell you what, Mitch, oh, man, what a great race, huh?
It was a great race. Obviously, that one caution that came out after that long green flag run we could have done without, but nonetheless was still a very entertaining race to watch up here from our perspective up in the booth.
Well, folks, that's going to do it for the Sim Racing Network here at USA Speedway for the SARA League Dreamer Racing Super Series. If you want to find out more, hit them up on their Facebook page. The SARA League's on there. We're on there, as a matter of fact. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitch and YouTube. Give us a like, give us a follow. You'll get notifications of when we go live. Mitch, before we depart the area, do you have any final thought?
Yeah, I just want to say that I really enjoy coming up here in the booth the odd time and doing these things with you guys, John. Sucks Ben wasn't here. It would have been really a hoot if all three of us were in the booth together. But
just like the old days.
Yeah, just like the old days. But nonetheless, I have a lot of fun doing these things. This was a really fun race to watch tonight, and I'm looking forward to the next one that I do.
Well, Mitch, I had a blast with you again, man. I kind of miss making fun of you sometimes, man. I can't, I can't make fun of your last name anymore because you're never around. So what's the point? But I had a blast too. Well, folks, that's going to do it for us tonight. And remember, be safe out there on the roads. Put your phone down. Pay attention to what the hell you're doing, especially in some of this bad weather we've got countrywide. Folks out there in Alabama, we are thinking of you and praying for you. My good friend Aaron, up there in North Carolina, buddy, I'm again sorry for your loss, my friend, and it's going to get better. Just hold your head up and know that there are people out there who love you for who you are and the strength that you have. And folks, God bless all of you, and good night.